Okay, I'm live. Apologies for that. I did have a one scheduled, but for some reason, as soon as I clicked live, it just didn't work. But we're back live again. Scalping and day trading, the New York Open, US Open on the futures market, Nasdaq NQ. I'm just saying a bunch of keywords because apparently that helps. Let me get a screen up. Here we go. All right, we have just opened. Benjamin, good evening to you. How are you, my friend? All right, let me just make that 16. Set up these charts. Oh, we just dipped into an area that I am interested in to potentially short. Let me just see if that's still in play. Not really anymore. It used to be a gap, not anymore. We have had a bit of rejection, but my God, really pushed up again today. We're still in that range. Good morning, Cody. Amin, glad to be here. Glad you're here as well. Dark Fire, good morning to you as well. Hope you all had a good day so far. Let's just get some of these levels drawn out. I'm a bit late to the party today, but it's fine. I never really trade exactly on the open, so this one's tough. Where to start the volume profile? I mean, technically, this is the high. Yeah, why not? Let's do it this way. Do it all the way down, all the way across, and then we're going to get some of these levels. Yeah, that is still well and truly a nice level to potentially shorten, but we've got a few stacked up among each other, which is a little bit annoying, meaning we're going to have a bit of chop, lots of chop. And then we've got one more down below. Try to, excuse me. Oh my, there we go. All right. Majority of the levels sorted. Yeah, so we've kind of just opened, touched that level. We're bouncing between the two right now. In terms of bias today, I don't know. Honestly, we've had such a push up. If I look at the daily, we're still very much in that range. If I just switch to the candlesticks real quick, we've kind of just undid everything we did yesterday. So we're very much in that range. However, where we rejected from, I don't know if you guys remember yesterday, towards the end of the live stream, it wasn't far off. I marked out my levels on the volume footprint, and then what I did was, try and pinpoint the exact gap where there could be a rejection, and I drew a little black box within a black box of where I think the rejection will be. And yeah, we got there to a T, and then that was the upward movement. And since then, we have just been pushing up since last night, basically. But I wouldn't be surprised if we rotate down here. I mean, this is looking, that rejection is looking really good, to be fair. Let me just look at the volume, get an idea what's going on. So this is the opening candle. Yeah, lots of sellers. Buyers tried to take over, completely failed. Oh, this pattern right here. Thomas, good morning to you. I mentioned this yesterday in the live stream. This candle right here. Oh, that didn't highlight it. I'm talking this candle, right? This bearish candle. If you ever see that candle in the footprint, right? So basically, long wick at the top, nice full body, nice bearish movement. But then on the footprint, all the buy volume is stacked up, towards the top of the candle. And we close below all the buy volume. And then there's like sell volume at the end of it. And obviously for a bullish signal, the exact opposite. That candle has such a high probability, in terms of scalping. Obviously, I'm not saying long term. You don't want to swing trade based on a 1 minute candle, but for a scalp that has such a high probability, when you see that candle, whenever you see, that kind of signal right there, it's really nice. All good. I'm doing demo today with $100 demo. Then the results of this start earning my demo account at 660. Hoping I can do this on Ola Prime Prop Firm. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Good to get some practice in. And once you feel you're kind of ready, absolutely move to a prop firm. And look, there's a high probability at the first time or the first few times you're going to fail a challenge. That's completely normal. Don't be discouraged by that. But yeah, you'll get there. You'll get there as long as you stay disciplined. That's really, again, here's that candle forming, right? If we close nice and bullish, because again, all the buy volume stuck at the top. If this sell volume basically becomes effective and we remain kind of bearish and we close kind of bearish, so we haven't yet closed. We've still got 20 seconds. Great signal usually, but you really want it at the top of a move. Like we had this push up and then the move started happening. You kind of really want to see it at the top. If you're seeing it near the bottom of a downward leg, I would generally ignore it, and vice versa for a bullish move. And yeah, we didn't really get there. The buyers kind of came in and took control. We didn't reclose properly bearish like how we wanted. But yeah, really, really nice. All right, let's get a game plan together. Let's get a game plan. We're at the point of control, which is slightly annoying. Ever so slightly annoying. I'm just going to load up my cash account as well. Ah, shit. That's slightly annoying. That's fine. We can do it through my phone. Yeah, I'm going to load up my cash account as well, just in case I see trades. I want that to be ready. I don't want to be missing any good trades because it's not all loaded up and ready to enter. All right, that looks good. Cool. Yeah, the sellers are coming in so aggressively. I'm still overall bearish. I've been saying this for weeks. We haven't really got any. Okay, game plan. I want to see a pull up back into this kind of area and then a rejection, then I can go short. But we are right by that damn point of control, because that's going to cause a bit of chop, and it's right in my path, which is very annoying. The point of control was higher up. I'd feel a bit better about it. But okay, we're kind of coming back into this area. Let's see what happens. Load up. How big movements are these? Well, this is quite a big market, so we'll just start with like 2 micros. All right, now I want to see potentially. No, see, the buyers are just taking over. There was no kind of sell pressure. Nothing really kind of kept this market from moving. So no trade there yet. But at the top in this area, this could be a great place to short potentially if we get the sell pressure that comes in. It's this point of control at the bottom here that the market just kind of rejected off, which is, it is what it is. Benjamin, I saw your cash account on Instagram, sheesh. Yeah, it's many years of building up. And I'm about to hit a milestone, so. And it's weird, the closer I get to, oh, this could be all right. I'm seeing okay, there's definitely a lag. If you look at between TradingView and Project X, there is a lag right now, because the market's moving so quick, and it only happens when I'm streaming, because I think the actual, the CPU usage of streaming slows down the PC to the point where, because look, TradingView's bullish, and then if you look at the 2 candles, I don't know if you guys can see that, but look, it's already gone back down on Project X. On TradingView, we're still up here, and one of them is slow. I'm trying to figure out which one is lagging. It's most likely TradingView because of the footprint, but there's a clear lag, so which doesn't doesn't really help right now. Same lag for me. Okay, maybe it's a Project X issue. That wouldn't surprise me. Project X has been very unstable in recent times. Ola Prime, we're moving everything over. We're going to be offering Ninja Trader, Rhythmic Feed, Tradeovate, DX Futures. We're getting all new platforms, better platforms available. And I think, yeah, we're dropping Project X as well because of the stability issues that it's had in recent times. Too many people complaining. I think most prop firms are doing the same as well. Because yeah, this is a bit. I don't know which one it is though. If it's TradingView or Project X, I'm trying to. They're kind of caught up with each other a little bit now. You got to see it when the candle closes. When the candle closes, so 4 seconds on TradingView. Let's see, 3, 2, 1. Okay, no, they've caught up now. The lag is gone. Oh no, there is still a bit of a lag. Yeah, Justin says Project X is lagging slightly. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. But I would imagine that's somewhat to do with the volatility right now. It is very volatile. I mean, each candle we've got, if you just taken a random candle top to bottom, 23 points a candle. It's quite a lot, man. It's quite a lot, 23 points. Like on the ES, that would be like a 15-minute candle. 20 points on the ES would take forever to achieve. You're getting it on a 1-minute candle here on NQ. This is so definitely lower the size. That's another thing about the footprint. It's very deceiving. It's hard to tell how big a candle is on a footprint. You can see it more on the candlesticks, but it can be very deceiving, the footprint. So we're just gonna wait for potentially shorts. Like I need to up the tick amount. Like each cluster is just too small right now. Okay, that's looking a bit better. Now I can kind of see. I'm wondering if we get another rejection here. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to still give it to the bulls. If we can, if we start going above the open, and I'm gonna call it more likely to buy. But as of right now, we're still, this could just double top type formation. So let's just see what the volume's actually saying. A ton of buyers coming in though. Look at that, 600 contracts dropped, 3. Oh, instantly back down. But they reloaded very quickly, these buyers. There, the lag is bad. All right, you see where that 20 is? That was 300. That 166 was also 300. So there was a big amount of sell absorption happening right there. It might be worth just with, we're talking micros here. Oh, that moved so quickly. I'm gonna have to have a, oh man, my stop is gonna be ridiculous on this, but it's fine. If we go back into kind of, a bit higher up, I can add a bit more size potentially. But it's just moving too quickly for, that was a terrible entry, by the way. Ideally, I wanted to enter a bit higher up, but okay, we're at that point of control. Getting a bit of, all right, that's good. We're trading a bit below the buy pressure here. Let's see if we can stay below it. If we stay below it, that's good. Come on, stay below. Look at these buyers reloading like crazy. Oh, Yeah, it's a bad entry, bad price. Got some serious slippage. Big battle going on. Buyers are trying to push it up. They're putting in a lot of size, but the sellers are keeping them at bay, which is good so far. But if we break above that level, that iceberg, um, then we might do another rotation up. So you might as well get out and then come back in at a better price. If you entered at a decent price, not the end of the world, right? And then you can hold it. But I entered at such a poor price. Yeah. So it was kind of breaking up. Might as well. I know the sellers are trickling back in. Let's give them another second, actually. It might be all right here. All right. Come on. Add size to the sellers. There we go. All right. They did actually manage to defend. Now we're trading below that cluster of buyers, which is good. Now these sellers need to become effective. If we now the same thing to the buyers, right? What happened to the buyers? If these heavy sellers fail to get it down lower, not good for us again, because now we're just fail to get it down. The buyers absorbing the sellers on there, sellers absorbing buyers, and right above this candle here, top and bottom, you got aggressive sellers, aggressive buyers. It's pretty much now anyone's game at this point. So let's see if the sellers can give it one more shot. If they get absorbed here, we're going to get out. Okay, come on, break through it, break through. Come on. Nah, they're getting absorbed. All right, this area here it's anyone's game at this moment in time. They're both as aggressive and as adamant as each other. Could be, do you know what I mean? Uh, it's just no point. It's like a coin flip, basically, right there. Let's see. Good morning, TM Cloud. Every Thomas says every dip gets bought. I know these dip buyers are ridiculous. Tiger, great to see you, man. How are you, Tiger? Eric, awesome. Eric made 980 today. Amazing, good stuff. Really good stuff, Eric. Yeah, we're in a very choppy, nasty area, but that price level right here, these two areas here, there's 20 and 166. Originally, over 300 buyers were on this 20 level and 300 buyers on this 166 level, and now it's closed at 20 and 166, meaning 280 sellers came in, pushed that price down, meaning they were more effective, and then another 150 sellers came in. So a lot of, there's right there's a lot of sellers, essentially. Big sell order was right there, aggressive sell order. So it would be very nice if we revisit that area or close to it to potentially see the sellers defend. That would be very nice. But yeah, now the sellers are starting to break down. All right, fair play. The sellers did eventually win, but I wasn't happy holding that just based. It could have very easily gone up. It was genuinely 50-50. They were both as mental as each other in that area. It's a coin flip. So if the probability erodes, you might well get out. Especially since I had such a bad price, man. By the time I hit sell, the candle jumped already. Yeah. And you said it yourself, it will double top. Yeah, I mean, it was a hunch, but by the time it happened, by the time I clicked sell, my order was already down here. It's just I hate a gappy market. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Absolute mental. Yeah. The sellers are after blood right now. They are serious about getting this market down. They want to undo all of this, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if a serious sell-off happens. There's a lot of um yeah, there's a lot of volume. Drive. Hey man, I hate to bother you. Every time I got a question about Ola Prime, but I just got booted out of this short. It said something about maintenance excess requirement too low. Which platform are you using, Drive? Which account basically? Futures, right? And which instrument was it? NQ? I tell you what, Drive, email it to me. Really, really simple, the screenshot. Sam at olaprime.com. In fact, I'll put it in the chat, so it's really easy. Sam at olaprime.com. Right, just email me whatever the issue was, because obviously I can't do anything right now because I'm live streaming, but I can forward it to the right people. Okay, see what the problem was. I feel you. I personally play with smaller amounts so I can have a bigger stop loss. Always trading 2-3% of my account. Yeah, Gary, that's right, man. That's the best way to do it. Like, I would say micros all the way. Even especially if you're trading the NQ, micros all the way. You know, even on a 150K account, I would do micros, because the idea is it's just you want realistically speaking, when it comes to prop trading, right? Most firms will allow you like 5 accounts or something, right? Max allocation. Depends on, the firm, but let's say 500,000 is max allocation. Like, realistically speaking, you want to be doing 2-3% a month at most. Do you know what I mean? Um, in order to keep that risk correct, if you want to really like keep your account for the long term, you're looking at 2-3%. Because look, while it's possible to get 10%, sure, you can like full port, you can start trading minis. You might get a few good trades in, and wow, you've made a lot of money. It just takes 3-4 losses in a row and you're out the game. Especially if you're copy trading like 5 accounts and then you blew all five in that's hard, that mentally that's hard to recover from. You're going to be seriously pissed. So this whole kind of yo-yoing with minis is it's tough to do in the long term consistently. Micros though, if you stick to, example, and on like a really good setup, I'm talking, A star, A plus plus, the best setup you can imagine. Maybe you can up it. Um, but yeah, the chances of you blowing an account go so slim. You would have to lose 15 trades in a row before you're in that kind of, oh, I'm in dangerous territory. Drive says, I appreciate you helping me out every time. No, you're more than welcome, man. You're more than welcome. Benjamin, can I trade commodities on Ola Prime, Sam, or is it just futures? Yeah, no, absolutely. We have CFDs as well. So we do Forex, so you can do all the commodities, and futures as well. Two different sections, if that makes sense. Two different markets. I don't know. But yeah, we do both. So you can trade all the currencies on Forex, gold, silver, all that stuff. You can technically do gold on futures as well. But generally speaking, on CFDs, I think it's a bit better. But yeah, Gary, you didn't do anything wrong. I also play this with prop firm because of the rules. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. I'm using Vantage with 500 leverage, allows me to put really small. Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I would say, if you have a cash account, like you said, like a broker account, use the same kind of risk parameters as a prop firm on your cash. it definitely, the amount like cash is hard to trade though. If you got a small balance, if you got like $1,000, realistically, can you flip those accounts? Like, yes, it can be done, but let's be honest, there is an element of luck involved. The right market conditions, you want a nice, calm, stable market. Like maybe recently, as gold has just been going, up and up and up and never stopping. All right, you can kind of maximize on that and really start trailing. Add more size, and you can make a lot of money. But that's what if gold starts ranging or going all choppy again and being like market conditions really do matter. So when you have like a small kind of relatively low amount on the cash account, oh, 1 second. Oh, that's potentially again, I kind of missed it. I just didn't see it. I was talking, but it's fine. It's fine. Just wanted to point out, this 400 buyers who completely failed to get the market up. That would have been a very nice have a look, see what's going on. We trade below them, sellers coming in. Definitely a good entry for a short again, but we've already moved quite a bit for a scalp, so that trade is not available anymore. But like I was saying, no, it's fine. Honestly, Gary, it's all good. What was I saying? Yeah, cash account. Yeah, when you have like $1,000 or something, trying to make meaningful money on that cash account, you're going to have to up the risk and kind of need a bit of good luck. You could probably get it to a few thousand, you know, uh, quite quickly if you're very, bit of luck and you're very tuned in and the market conditions are good. But eventually, you try to do that consistently. Eventually, you lose it all. Happens every single time, pretty much to everyone. Um, so the only true way of winning in trading is kind of slow and steady. And I know that sounds boring as hell, but compounding, get a compound interest calculator. Like, this stuff is insane. If I do, for example, exponential growth, let me go to Google. It always loads up Yahoo search for me. This is just, I don't know why. No one uses Yahoo anymore. I'll load that up in a second. Cody says, can confirm the micros thing from experience. Yeah, micros all the way, man. All the way, micros. Payouts so fast, your head will spin too. Ola's one of the best. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, we're known for very quick payouts, like within an hour from request to actually getting your money. As long as you got your, Rise account and stuff like that set up. Obviously, if you need to like register a Rise account, that's going to take a bit longer. But if you got all that set up, yeah, it's super lightning fast. Potential growth calculator. This is the only way to win in trading. The only long-term way to win is compounding your money. I'll show it in a minute. This freaking thing takes forever to load. There we go. It's going to load. Is this the right one? Wrong one loaded up. X. Come on. All right. See if anything's happening in the market yet. Nothing yet. We're kind of just very choppy up and down, as expected, though, because we got these two areas right here. It's going to keep bouncing between them for a bit, and then it will make its move up or down. Truth be told, I don't have a bias yet for the day. I would say sellers are more aggressive. Let me look at so the open, the cumulative delta was at plus 3,500. And right now the cumulative is, plus 3,000 100 basically. So we're flat. We're completely flat. Buyers and sellers are as aggressive each other. We're completely flat. Um, no one's actually more aggressive. They're both as aggressive of each other right now. So again, pure indecision in the market. Pure indecision. Half the money in the market thinks it's going to go down. The other half thinks it's going to go up. Take your bet. You're flipping a coin right now. And while it's in this range, it's a bit of a messy range, but you can kind of see we're kind of in a range right now, and it's slowly getting smaller. This range, bit by bit, it will get squeezed into a point. As it does that, you really don't want to be, shorting at the bottom, and you don't want to be longing it at the top. So when you're in the middle of the range, you kind of just want to avoid trading completely. So until something more clear happens, or the cumulative volume delta, or one side gets way more aggressive and fails to get the market in their direction, until something happens, this is a coin flip right now for me. Complete coin flip. Oh, here we go. All right, it's loaded up. While that does that, this is the only way to win, right? You do like daily compound. Say you start with like 1,000, and you make, monthly, you make 3% a month. Within 5 years, you're only doing Monday to Friday. You don't deposit or withdraw. Even if you like add a little bit extra every month, you add, I don't know, 150 into it, and you're just that consistency. After 5 years, all right, you're gonna have, your balance will be 22K. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but that's only with 1,000, right? But if you use a prop firm as well and get regular payouts, and you get like $2,000 payouts roughly a month, because you got a 150K account or something, and you add that, and you start with, and you add every month at least another 1,000 from your prop money into a cash account, and you keep compounding it. Now we're starting to talk, okay, it's starting to grow. Do you know what I mean? But that's literally the only way, and it takes years and years. And I know that sucks, but it takes years and years of just being. Maybe if you push it up to 5% a month, you can do it, and then you will see how it grows rapidly. But compounding is the only way long term success in the market. Unless there's another strategy you could use, but it's going to be a roller coaster. So the other strategy is basically being a bit more irresponsible and YOLOing, full porting once in a while. Try have one massive payday or massive pay week or month, and then use that money and be smart with that money and start compounding it. Then that's like another way you can do it. But either way, you need capital. You need proper capital for the long-term success in trading, and that's just the reality of it. Thanks for helping me out, Sam. I sent you an email. Awesome. No worries. I'll check it after drive after the what's it called, the stream. Tunde, good day, sir. Oh, Taiwo from Nigeria. I am new here, and I'm happy to join this family. Welcome, Taiwo. If I pronounce your name wrong, I do apologize. Please, do Ola Prime broker work in Africa? Yes, we pretty much cover most. Nigeria, 100%. Yeah, Nigeria, we 100%. We got many Nigerian clients, so yeah, Nigeria's greenlit, all good. I know you won't believe me, but in good months, I can have 400+% up on the balance because of leverage. Gary, that is phenomenal, man. That is some good stuff. Well, if you could do that consistently, like even if you do like, all right, let's up that. I mean, 400% consistency is obviously wow, right? But if you can do that, if you can do like 20% consistently every month, 5 years, I mean, you'd be super rich, right? But realistically speaking, you're going to withdraw. You're going to hit a point where you're happy. You're not going to wait till it gets to 41 million. Once you get, a couple of million, you're gonna start buying shit. Let's be honest, right? Like, you're gonna start, buying that G wagon, buy the Rolex, all that stuff will come. That's just that's humans. That's normal. I use volume trading. Awesome. Yes, volume, man. Volume is king in the market. Cody asked, do you delete and redraw your zones every day, or do you have them in if the low volume node remains even though price traveled through it? Yeah, I keep it. If price just like shot through it, I keep it on the chart, right? Because it's a good chance then it will reject from the other side. So like this low volume node, right, that I drew out a while back, like price, we just went through. So now there's a good chance because it went through and didn't reject, there's a good chance when it comes back in, it's going to continue up. And that's exactly what happened. So you definitely want to still keep it on the chart, right? And there's a good chance, if we drop down now, all the way back down here, there's a good chance there's going to be probably some level of rejection, right? Doesn't always have to do it. It could be like that, where it just blows right through. But then, all right, fine. If it blows right through, then that will happen. Do you see what I mean? So it's good to have it on the chart. It's just like support and resistance. When something was resistance and price traveled through it, it becomes support afterwards, right? Exact same kind of idea. So yeah, definitely keep them on the chart. But of course, at some point, you do want to delete them when if they get filled after a while. Like if price starts consolidating in them and it doesn't become a low volume node anymore, you can get rid of it. Doesn't really matter. All right. So you do want to keep them updated. Because it essentially means whichever buyer or seller was in that area, the big buyer or seller, they're probably out the market and have no interest in any more trading that area. So it just becomes, a no zone basically. Driver, yep. Gotta get that money first. Absolutely. Just stack up the money, man. That's the best thing. And you become a better trader. I promise you this. This is so true. This is probably the best trading advice in the world. Right. And I'm not being dramatic here. If you trade and you make a bit of money and you save that money, just keep it in your account, whatever, just somewhere, and you don't touch it. You just save the money, right? You will become a better trader. I guarantee it, because you won't have that kind of desperate urge to make money quick anymore. The biggest killer is make money quick urge, like that. I need to make money today. I need to make money tomorrow. I need to that's very difficult when you have that kind of, emotion in the market. But say you got, you're sitting on, let's say, 10K in your account and your monthly bills are, 2.5K. You know that you can survive for a few months even, and you got a regular income as well. Maybe you work a job, so all your bills are paid for. Trading becomes a million times easier because now you don't feel like you need to rush the process anymore. You can just kind of chill a bit, and take the better trades and kind of just day by day it kind of goes on, and time goes quick, man. Like as you get older, 1 year feels like 4 months, and then before you know it, you're like, made some good progress. I talk 2 times per week. Oh no, well, sorry. I've only stabilized my strategy the last 3 months. Of course, it's not realistic because I don't know how to control my emotions as the balance increases. I now have a psychological coach that I talk to 2 times per week. That is interesting. A psychological coach. See, Gary, what I love about that is you've identified, a problem, right? And you're doing something about it, getting a psychological coach. I have never heard of any trader say, yeah, I've got a psychological coach. Like when I say like, like a normal retail trader. So that's impressive. That shows, you're serious about this. You're dead serious about it. and you're tackling, some of the big problems that every trader has. Like psychology is everything, pretty much. Ben asks, question Sam, how can you tell if a low volume node is useless anymore? Best way is when it just doesn't become a low volume node anymore, right? So you want to just keep updating the volume profile as time goes on, right? Like I'm pretty sure this won't be a low volume node anymore. We've spent so much time in that area. Yeah, it's not really low volume anymore. So you can pretty much kind of get rid of it. The next area would be here. This is really where the volume drops off, right? Like all the heavy volume, we've just been consolidating up and down. No one's winning. This is the next area of interest now. And then if we, blow through it and come back and then continue, short, 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 short. That's what I'm doing until we get down to this area here. This is the next low volume kind of node where I expect some kind of rejection from the buyers. And then if we, again, blow through it and go retest and continue, short, 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 short. Now, if we reject off it, then I'm potentially longing it back up into this node, right? And then when we get there, I'm potentially shorting it again. So you're just kind of bouncing off the levels. Oops, I knocked the mic over. You're just kind of bouncing off the levels, playing ping pong, essentially. That's all you're doing. Ping pong. Up, down. Especially on a choppy day like this, it's just going to keep bouncing between levels. Because there's too much indecision in the market. No one's agreeing. Look at this. We haven't gone anywhere. We're just pure sideways. But this is a perfect opportunity to use the cumulative delta, right? So we started this little tight range at 3,222. We're now at 3,222. We're completely balanced. There's no imbalance at all in the market. We are perfectly balanced. Now, say, for example, in this range, right, this little tight range we've had, it started at 3,222. And say right now it was, I don't know, plus 4,400 or something. So an extra 1,000 buy contracts in this area. Then I would be more inclined to short the market. All right. Especially you get near the top of the range, I'll be more inclined to short the market because an extra 1,000 buyers couldn't push it up. The sellers are more effective. They're more efficient, right? There's basically more sellers in the book here absorbing buy pressure than there is buyers absorbing sell pressure. So, but we're completely flat. We haven't really moved, give or take, a couple of hundred contracts, but that's just candle dependent, right? You really want kind of a clear, one-sided divergence, but we haven't got that we're just completely flat right now, the volume. So it's just, yeah, it is what it is. That's where prop firms can help you and make sure you're consistent and have tight stop losses. Yeah, like the rules of prop firms, are something you should 100% do in your own cash accounts as well. Like you have to, you fundamentally have to. Like the institutional guys, they've got it easy. And the reason they got it easy is because they all have risk managers. There's literally a risk manager on the floor who's monitoring every position, monitoring every person's trading habits, what they're doing. And if you're having a bad day, you've lost a bit of money, they'll cut you off. They'll just stop you. They physically cannot trade. So institutional people, like that's what we had when I was on a trading floor. We had a risk manager. They stop you from trading. So you never actually really had to deal with your emotions as much as a retail trader. We're not, as a retail trader, no one is physically going to stop me from trading except myself. And it's actually harder for us now. Do you know what I mean? So they've got a massive advantage just from having a risk manager. This price action is shit. It really is, Thomas, man. It's a complete coin flip right now. We're starting to slowly, though. The second half of the range, was that 3,000, we're slowly starting to go more into, more sell pressure, but we're not pushing it down, meaning I would be a little bit more inclined to potentially buy, but by no means is that a definite or definitive result. This is only a few hundred contracts. It's not a clear imbalance. It could be easily put back in balance after a couple of candles. See, we're going back to 3,000 in one candle. So it's not even, we are completely flat right now, volume wise, completely flat. Which is slightly annoying because, oh my God, just look at the candles, man. Look at this. What kind of, this is like a 30-point range. And it's just up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. I mean, you could have made a killing, theoretically, if you just shorted after every bullish candle and longed after longed after every bearish candle. You could have made some money. This is just disgusting. Fatty, do you think NQ will make new highs soon? It's a tough one, man. Personally, I think no. I think in the longer term, I do still think we are. I mean, we're just in a range. This is the problem. Longer term, we're squeezed. Basically, the daily is no different to what is happening right now on the 1 minute, right? You got these big kind of rotations on the range, and we're getting squeezed into a tiny, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller until one side pops. So, and this is the daily chart. You can see it's exactly the same right now. Big rotations of a range, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and now it's just up, down, up, down, up, down, complete chaos until something gives. There has to be a bit of a catalyst, though. I thought CPI might do it. CPI didn't do it. This could continue for a few days. It could continue for a week. We just don't know. This is just a sad truth. You just don't know. But until it breaks, until we truly, either break down below or break above, right now, it's not worth making long-term bets. Does that make sense? Not worth doing long-term bets because it's just anyone's game at this moment in time. There's no clear winner. I have been more on the bearish side in recent times just because of, you see this kind of push up, this slow kind of push up we had in the first week of January or the second week, I can't remember. But here I saw a ton of absorption every day from the sell side. All right, some big seller building up a big position. So I was expecting kind of like what we had here, where probably the same thing happened, a bunch of absorption, and then a big kind of, boom, move down, bang, 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 bang. And we kind of had it yesterday, but then the buyers just came back in. They weren't accepting it. So I'm starting to slowly become more neutral in my bias now, at least for the next coming days, because CPI couldn't break it out. NFP couldn't break out. What is the catalyst that's going to actually make this finally break out? I don't know. I think maybe tariff related, but the tariffs were delayed again, the decision. So maybe that's what it was. Everyone was waiting for the tariffs. All right, it was delayed yesterday and postponed. There's just nothing there. So all we can do as traders is recognize that it's going to be, unfortunately, a shitty week or a shitty few weeks potentially. It's not going to be great until we get out of here. And the best you can do is just be extremely patient. I mean, there's still trade opportunities. You're just going to have to Like if you're a swing trader, it's probably going to be tough for you right now to swing trade. If you're looking for, big extensions up or down, we're stuck in a range. So I guess lower your TP, lower your expectations of how much the market's going to move. But yeah, this is filth. This is utter disgusting what I'm seeing here. What the hell is going on? And we're still flat. The cumulative is still flat. But you're starting to see the volume is dying off. It's almost a calm before the storm. So, look at that. This is like a trader's nightmare right here. This is just disgusting to look at. Okay, are we going to break out? Are we actually going to break out? No. Nope. I don't know. It's unfortunate, but it happened, at the beginning of the stream. But I've said this for a few times now. For the last few days, the market's been a lot better later on. Near market open, it's just been too. It hasn't been good. It hasn't been fun to trade. The moves are either way too quick. The market is gapping constantly because there's just too much volatility, or you just get really shitty price action where there's just nothing you can do but sit and wait. It's funny. Slow markets were fast and vice versa. Yeah. It's funny that I'm late discovering this kind of trading, the volume footprint, and invest my time on learning the ICT, SMC, SNR, buying some courses, and the worst, I'm buying some bots to trade for me. Yeah, bot trading. I don't look. I can't really talk about bot trading because I truly don't know. I've never tried bot trading, but from everything I've heard, finally getting a bit of a breakout here. Finally, okay, bit of movement. Let's see. That took freaking forever, but yeah, bot trading, as far as I'm aware, the problem with bots is they're hard coded for the most part, right? And the market, you got to trade differently depending on the condition of the market. Like the way I trade wouldn't work in a range. It just wouldn't work. I'll get absolutely destroyed in a range. But if I can recognize we're in a range, I can avoid trading, right? Or adapt my strategy to work in a range. Okay, something's happening now. We're finally getting something. This could be a little false breakout and then back into the range. I'm going to go in short because I'm getting very very impatient here. Just because we had that rejection, bunch of sellers came in. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of this range at very least. All right, we got to the middle of the range. Let's see what's happening. 70, 50, nothing major yet. I'm going to already go to break even because this can just wick up and down. If it can't break through the middle, then it's going to continue going up. Then it's just a pullback of the range, if that makes sense. But if we can break down, all right, look, a ton of sellers coming in. Are they getting absorbed? Yes. 300 contracts, still not really pushing it down. But they're starting to overwhelm the buyers now a bit. Another 200. The buyers are really fighting back. If we trade above those 200, right? If the buyers can get above them, get out the short, because it's just that they're overwhelmed the strongest sellers in the market. If you overwhelm the strongest sellers in the market, which it looks like they're about to do, I don't know, they just about. And you got to get out and see how quick that happens. Like it's just it's tough to trade a market like this. So you just have to also recognize sometimes, You're going to get a lot of failed trades, annoyingly. You're going to get in, that didn't work out. So I could have put my TP at the bottom of the range, but I was hoping this is a false breakout and then, a continuation down. I was trying to get that extension. Didn't quite happen, but what can you do? Still got to wait. This is still a disgusting market. But I wouldn't be surprised if sellers start taking over again, potentially here. Look at that, sellers coming back in. Oh, they're going in again. But now we're dead in the middle of the range. You don't want to trade in the middle of a range. It's just too risky. Bossity Millionaire. What are we saying, bro? You up? Yeah, well, marginally. I've only been trading micros. So I've only done one micro. Because what I'm waiting for is to scale in. I'm waiting for some kind of move to happen. So, I can jump in, for example, like a short here. And then as we start breaking below the range and I can see that it's starting to look good and buyers exhausting, I can jump in with more size and, get that extension. But we just haven't had anything like that. So all I've had are like I dip my toe in, but the trade just fails. We don't really get it. We don't get the move. We're just, do you know what I mean? Right now, I can't go to a real account because this kind of strategy is new for me. I'm on a testing waters right now, but so far so good. Flipping that $100 demo into 600, not bad. Yeah, absolutely. Stick to demo until you're, very kind of comfortable. Oh, wow. Okay. The sellers did overwhelm the buyers eventually, but we're still at the peaks of the bottom of the range. We're not truly out of it. Move usually happens stock open 9:30. Yeah, I mean, you get. We had a bit of a sell-off at 9:30, but we're still very much at the opening range of the move, right? Like we haven't actually extended, right? We've just gone sold off and then gone up, and you can see that in the volume we're completely flat, and then this is just price being squeezed, and eventually there's got to be a move is going to happen. This isn't this is just chop, essentially. It's not really I wouldn't call it a trend. It's not a trend. You know what I mean? It's not a move. It's just chop. It's complete filth. Absolute filth. Let's see what the cumulative is saying. Let's see if we've got any kind of imbalance happening now, finally. Started at 3,220. We are now, okay, we've had something. We're now back down to 1,060. So, but it's really only been in this kind of move down. Okay, this is starting to get a little bit interesting now. This is I'm gonna head out. Thanks again for helping me out, and good luck trading. See you tomorrow. Take care, Drive. You can call it chop. I call it 500 beans in the bag to eat on. No, absolutely. Look, if you're happy scalping it, go for it, man. If you got like a range bound type strategy where you're shorting the tops, putting in a lot of size and going up and down, why not? There's a million and one different ways of trading different market conditions. But yeah, like on my cash account, I wouldn't take this, but I'm trading maximum size 25 minis on my cash. And I'm like 60,000 away from a million now. So I'm on like one of the biggest milestones of my life, my trading career with it. And I do not want to I just stick to the plan, you know, stick to what's working for me. If I start changing the recipe, do you know what I mean? Why change if it's working? But I was saying something about the cumulative. What was I talking about? Yes, the cumulative delta. Let's get back to it. So at the beginning of the range, we were at 3,200 roughly contracts, right? And now we're at 1.6. That means an extra 1,500 sellers came in, contracts came in this area, but we didn't really push down. Now the imbalance, I would be more inclined to buy just because there's more of an imbalance to, like the sellers were more aggressive and they're not able to, do you know what I mean? You can see this imbalance starting to happen now. Like even this little section of the range, right? We were at 2,000 contracts. Now we're at 1,700. Okay, it's only an extra 300 sellers, but I would be more inclined to to buy. So I don't want to buy at the top of a range. I want to obviously buy. So potentially, if we get down below, get again a bit more lower down in the range, I would be more happy to now enter a long, because I don't want to enter at the top of the range and it just keeps rotating up and down because you just get chopped up, right? So I'll be more happy to kind of enter near the bottom of the range. I'm hoping there's one more rotation of this range. If it just breaks out now, there's gonna it's gonna be freaking bad luck, man. It's gonna piss me off because it's like we've had like a million rotations and then and it decides not to do it. That would be that would be hilarious and very unfortunate for me. BL, do you mind saying how long it took you to build to that level of capital? Oh, years, years, years. I'm talking like 7, 8 years. Oh, freaking hell! It broke out now. Are you kidding me? It couldn't do one more rotation down. Are you taking the piss, NQ? We went up and down for the last 34 minutes. We were rotating up and down. I wanted one more rotation down so I can get in long at a good price, and we're breaking out now. Absolute shit show. That's I don't know. It's fine. Let's see what the comments are saying. There's a complete piss take. That's just pissed me off, man. You can't make this shit up, can you? What an absolute joke. How do I learn this strategy? Watching these lives and my videos that I have on YouTube. I'm going to be making a lot more, and I'm probably going to make like a proper strategy video because I've kind of just, I haven't really done like a full in-depth strategy video. Does that make sense? So, yeah. How do I learn this strategy? Can I see your footprint settings for a second? Absolutely. Absolutely. So, got it set to manual. Now, ticks per row, I change depending on how volatile the market is. If the market's very volatile, I want to make that number bigger. But I always do it in fours, right? So 20, 24, 28, whatever. Just so I can get the cluster size to be like kind of nice. And the reason I do it because 4 ticks in a point, right? So like if you do like 2 points, so 8 ticks, 2 points per cluster, it's just going to look disgusting to look at. Like you just want to kind of focus on the heavy volume, and this is too small, and nah, it's not nice. So I adjust it as the volatility of the market. Display, I do clusters. You can do profile, doesn't really matter. And I have the delta, and that's pretty much it. And then under the table, I use table. I do delta, delta percent, and the cumulative volume delta. Those are literally the settings. All right. Still very impressive. Yeah, but I was also, working as a trader as well. So I would add money into my account, you know, um, to help it grow. So there was a lot of depositing as well, adding every month when I instead of just keeping the money in my bank account, if I had like a spare few thousand, I would put that in my it was more than a few thousand, but you know what I mean. Like if I had a bit of money left over or whatever I don't need, I would add that into my broker account as well, so I can keep compounding it. But yeah, took a long time to build, but it's almost there, and it starts getting quicker and quicker. It's like a snowball effect, because then you start trading bigger size, and then bigger size means more profit. More profit means the account grows quicker. It's just the first kind of few years of that compounding is a drag, but once you start hitting it and the snowball effect kicks in, it really starts speeding up. Um, Mate, I found you by pure chance 3 days ago. The hell's going on? Am I still live? Let me know if I'm still live in the chat, because I think my connection just kind of froze, and I hope YouTube hasn't booted me off. So just someone in the chat if I'm still live and you can hear and see this. Okay, good, Cody. Thank you, Cody. Shaitan, mate, I found you by pure chance 3 days ago. The algo chose you. I've learned more in 3 days watching the streams and videos in 3 years of doing this. That's amazing to hear, man. I'm really, really happy. What's your profit today? Not a lot. I've only managed to take 2 positions of 1 micro. So yeah, not a lot. There hasn't been any real trading yet. Do you give yourself a salary? No, so I'm employed by Ola Prime, and the salary I get from them covers more than enough, covers all my expenses for day to day. So I keep my trading income as it is, like unless I've got like a big purchase I'd like to make, um, something in particular, but I try not to touch it. I want to keep compounding it. Plus it's kind of good for tax reasons to not pull it out. So yeah, but that's a whole nother thing. I'm not even going to talk about that. But yeah, you get my drift. Yeah. Sam, what broker you use? Unfortunately, broken candlesticks. I can't mention any other broker, prop firm, anything like that. Part of my employment contract with Ola Prime is I cannot talk about other competitors. I can't talk about, I just can't do it. Do you know what I mean? So unfortunately, I can't say, but I use a futures broker. Let's just put it that way. And there's many futures brokers out there, and they're all regulated. Because it's a gentleman's market of futures. Like your money doesn't even go to the broker; it goes to a financial clearing house, like I could say Iron Beam. Iron Beam's not a competitor, but like Iron Beam, stuff like that. They actually hold your money and pay. So it really goes into the live market. It's no B booking, none of that stuff, dodgy stuff. So all in all, yeah, I mean, any futures broker you use is going to be good. Like they have to be. They're all regulated. Your advice to a new trader who's paper trading. Damn. Learn this. learn order flow. And if money is a issue, because I know order flow platforms can be a bit more pricey, you can get really, really cheap access to order flow. There's one, like the cheapest entry to order flow is a software called Cluster Delta. I'm not affiliated by them or anything like that, but it's dirt cheap. They have their own little software. It is, let's be honest, it's not that great in terms of, like, it looks bad. It looks a bit shit, but you get the actual footprint, and you get the data, you get the actual volume data, and it's $750 a month. So, it's a great place to start if money's tight, and it's a good place to practice. Um, but yeah, definitely learn, because I'm telling you now, like, retail trading is always 10, 15 years behind the institutions. So most institutions now, like big central banks, BlackRock, all these titans of the financial world, they they don't have guys like me anymore. We're dinosaurs, right? Hedge funds and stuff, yeah, they still kind of employ traders, but we as traders, institutional traders, right? We don't really exist anymore, right? They don't care about, oh, you can use order flow. They're not going to give you a job. They don't. That's stuff that happened 15 years ago for them. Now it's all HFT and quants and algos and AI, and they want basically mathematicians and coders, right? You need a mathematics degree now, and you need to learn like, I'm not that guy, right? I've never learned that. That's the new institutional trader. You're managing algorithms, right? And you're building algorithms, and you're a risk analyst, and you're, you know, got a PhD in statistics and whatnot. Like, that's the new trader, right? I'm a dinosaur. I'm like, institutional level, they don't hire people like us. We're all unemployed now, essentially. And we all just become retail traders on our own. But the shit I was using when I was on the institutional desk was order flow. That was a long time ago, right? And that was when retail traders as a whole didn't really use order flow. They only used, typical candlesticks, patterns, trend lines, and all that stuff that retail traders used back then, trend lines, patterns, Fibonacci, all that kind of stuff. That's what traders were using in the 80s, when computers were like, when you were just able, all right, maybe not the 80s, that's a bit too early, but like 90s, when, computers were able to kind of simulate a chart just about, and it had enough computing power. That's what they were using. And so we're always like 15 years behind the institutions, right? Um, and order flow is going to be the main way retail traders trade in the next 5 to 10 years. Guaranteed. Guaranteed, because it's become so accessible now. Anyone can have access to it. It used to be very difficult to get access to it. Like, even getting the data from the CME, people didn't know how to do it. Like, because you can't buy it directly from the CME if you're a retail trader, right? You need some kind of data feed provider, and there's a bit of red tape, and you gotta, like, it was all very confusing. I remember back in the days, you had to actually send off via mail to get access to this data feed. I can't remember what it was, but it was very difficult. Basically, it wasn't easy. And now, few buttons, you pay, on average like $100 a month, and you've got it all. It's become so accessible, and that's why all retail traders are going to move over to order flow. But this is old stuff. This isn't new. This is very old stuff. And then, in maybe 20, 30 years time, we'll all be quants and algorithms and managing algos, and that's how trading will be. It will evolve. This will become old stuff. People would laugh if you're using it. If you're using order flow, people are like, oh, that's so old. That's just the reality of it, So if you're starting out, be at the forefront of what retail traders have access to, right? Unless you're like some complete, brainiac who can, I don't know, build your own AI model, and you've got unlimited money to invest in like the greatest I don't know, servers and whatnot, and you have absolute zero latency, and you can, but it's just untouchable for us as a retail trader. Even if you're a multi-millionaire, you're not going to be doing it to that level. It's just it's not going to happen. Um. Oh wow, we had a huge sell-off. You should move to the Cayman Islands, no tax, no. Yeah, yeah. There's many tax havens. It, it, I've thought about it. Not the Cayman Islands, but I think that's good for like corporations more. But for individuals, there's many great tax havens out there. Wow, NQ, ES, and gold are so choppy. I'm happy I made my money and I'm done for the day. Uh, Absolutely, man. Today is a choppy day. Not really going anywhere. David, how important is the DOM, the depth of market? Um, it's important. Don't get me wrong, but it's almost impossible to track with the naked eye. Like, here's the depth of market. Just look at it. Like, you're not tracking what the hell is going on here. Occasionally, you see a big order, but that's most likely spoofing. The reality is the way the DOM works and the way the orders are placed is, let's say on 25,870, there's 20 contracts available. Now, if someone wants to place a big order, they'll only make 20 available. And then once those 20 get cleared, an algo reloads another 20, and then another 20, and another 20. So price doesn't actually go any higher, but on the DOM, it just looks like there's 20 contracts available. And that's called an iceberg order, and that's absorption, right? Like right there would have been absorption, right? 300 contracts aggressively sold, another 150 didn't go any lower. There's an iceberg. There's something on the depth of market, and you're only seeing 6 or 7 contracts. That's because there's literally an iceberg reloading, an algorithm reloading orders. Boom, 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 boom. Every time it gets filled, and they reload another 10, another 20, another 20, another 30, whatever, until their position has been filled, all right, passively. So you can see what's happening in the DOM using the footprint. Does that make sense? Trying to track the DOM is very difficult. There are traders out there who are very well trained, and they can kind of track it. I personally, I can't track the DOM. It just moves too much. And this, to be fair, this is not really a great DOM. The one in Project X is a bit shit. But even like some of the better ones, still very hard to track because it just moves so quick. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's important. Like if you see a giant order in the depth of market, sometimes you'll see like 400 on the level. It's most likely spoofing. It's there to try and persuade, and it's completely illegal. Actually, shouldn't happen. But what are you going to do, right? So sometimes someone might place a massive order. Like say they don't want the price to go any lower, they might place a huge order on a depth of market of like 500 contracts, which might spook some traders. Some people, no one wants to sell into a massive order, right? So the sell pressure might lay off the gas a bit, and the buyers can take over, and that's called spoofing, and it's completely illegal. But say that the market gets to their level where their 500 orders are placed, they just cancel it before it gets executed. So seeing giant orders on the DOM is usually bullshit. It's usually there's one right there, 400. Literally, as we're talking, right there it is. That's a motherfucker spoofing right there. It's never, and you see how it's disappearing and it's gone. They just cancelled it. They're trying to basically trying to spoof the market, literally, as I was explaining that it happened. And that's quite rare. Like, that doesn't happen all the time. So that was a perfect example. There's someone right here spoofing, trying to get the market up desperately because they don't want the market to go down. So they're placing fake orders to try and scare the sellers. But the reality is most people, big institutes, they know it's spoofing. they're not going to fall for it anymore. It was a tactic that worked years and years ago, and then there was one dude who basically had created a flash crash. They kind of pinned it on him. It wasn't really him, but some English guy actually. He created some flash crash from his bedroom because he had an algorithm that was spoofing like the markets like crazy. And yeah, he went down for like 10 years or something. But yeah, yeah, that was insane. We actually saw spoofing because it's rare to spot because people don't really do it anymore because it is illegal. Like if you get caught, all right, if you're a big institution, they probably won't do anything. They might give you a little fine. Nothing's going to happen. But if a retail trader does it a few too many times, like there could be a chance even your broker might snitch on you. You never know. Like, it's a bit yeah, it's not a good tactic to use anymore, spoofing. But there was a time it worked. It did work at one point. So yeah, you can tell, there's some buyer who's desperately right now does not want the market to go down to the point where they're doing illegal activity to try and keep this market from dropping, which they're panicking, seriously panicking, and they failed because the market keeps dropping. So, Sam, what would you consider actually futures, traditional prop firm or something else? Can't really say their name, but again, yes, traditional prop firm. I'm aware of who they are. Yeah, traditional prop firm. So their business model, that's not, I didn't work for them, but I worked for a very similar company when I first started trading. It was a traditional prop firm. So we would sell education, essentially. We would train you up to become a trader, and you'd have to pay for that, obviously. And then after like 6 months of learning, you come to the trading floor, you learn every day from the traders, you get put in a simulated environment. After performing in the simulated environment, maybe after another few months, 6 months or so, you get put into the live environment if your performance is good. And then sometimes you employed the person as well. They got a salary, and then you became a trader. So that's how it worked. Traditional prop firm, and I think they have that kind of business model. It just Scott, that was me. I'm a baller. Scott, you were spoofing the market. Should have known, man. Should have known. I want to punch NQ in its NQ face. I got caught up in the chop and now it's heading to my TP. So aggravating. Oh, well, I got to pay out today, but suffered a 1K loss. It is what it is, man. It is what it is, Tom. But look, it happens. Today's a nasty day. That's why I'm down to 1 micro. I'm only trading a micro because of how disgusting the market is right now. I would not put a mini on right now. I would get chopped up. And even if I did put a mini on, my balance would only be 290. So I'm pretty much, let's be honest, just flat on the day. Like there's nothing there. There's too much indecision in the market. We haven't got anything. No one knows what's going to happen. Like buyers and sellers are really just hating each other. And it all comes down to the daily chart. You can see it. Dom feels pretty pointless in stocks. Level 2 works well. Yeah, for the most part, like I said, Dom, it's for the human eye, it's almost impossible. I don't even really have the Dom on my screen when I trade. It just happens to be in Project X, but generally speaking, I'm not that fussed about it. I could happily trade without it. Yeah, like you just can't focus on it. I'd rather focus on the footprint than the depth of market. Don't grass. XAU USD. Snapchat. I sadly I don't trade gold. I'm a futures trader, and the gold futures just suck to trade. Like the volume is just not good. So I just don't trade gold, sadly. I couldn't really give you much insights on gold, but from what I've heard, I'm pretty sure you can just buy gold at any point and you'll make money. In the last like few months, like gold has just been buy as far as I'm aware. Any dip buy, but I'm just not a gold trader, so I wouldn't want to give you my opinion on gold because I'm not comfortable trading gold. I've never really traded it. It's not my thing. So it's mainly just down to the footprint and the data, because gold is such a big global market. You're seeing a lot of volume, like the stuff you see in the futures market isn't really the full market, whereas like the NQ is pretty much the full market. Do you know what I mean? Same with like the ES. You're seeing pretty much the full market. Obviously not 100% the full, but majority. Like what the volume you're seeing is really actually has an effect. But with gold, same with like Bitcoin, you're not seeing the full volume. There's just too much other things. So the trading decisions you'll make on the footprint are not going to be as accurate or as good on an asset like gold than it is on NQ or ES or Dow or YM, whatever. Look at this. This is just insanity, man. Absolute insanity. It's just nuts. Like you can get that was just a random algo spike of 82 points. I would say if you're up green on the day, lock it in. This is not a good day to trade. This is dangerous territory right now. And the real reason is just simple. There's complete indecision in the market. All the big players do not know what the hell is going to happen. They're fighting each other. We've had this, we had nice kind of movement for a while. Where's my path to it? It doesn't really matter. Up, and then the range got smaller and smaller as the daily. And we've just been compressed into such a small area. And on this move up, there was huge amounts of institutional passive sellers absorbing. And they wanted to push the market down. They kind of, managed to do it. But buyers were relentless to buy the bottom. And we're just locked. Just completely, there's no direction. Do you know what I mean? There's no clarity. And we as retail traders, we can't do anything but react. And if the big boys are, fighting, you just have to sit there and let them, sort it out. Like you can even see it in the cumulative delta, right? We went back to zero here. We crossed over. So, we started the New York Open at like 3,000 something, I think it was. Yeah, NY Open was 4,000, right? 3,500 contracts to the buy side, and we became completely flat. Everyone left the market, pretty much. Every position has been traded out. Like we're completely flat. Again, we've gone back to zero, and now we're going back into the buy favor again. Buyers are starting to buy again. But all the sellers originally are out the market, gone. And we haven't really gone anywhere, considering, the moves we've had, like pre-market, beautiful trend. Pre-market was the time to trade, man. Looking at that. And it's sad because normally it's not like that. Normally pre-market is shit, and then when the market opens, you get activity. Today is just one of those inverse days where pre-market everyone's happy, and then we open and it's just chaos. So yeah, maybe later on it will calm down, but it's still very, very mental right now. So if you're up for the day, lock in your profits. That's my advice. Don't just be super careful. Switch to, if you're trading minis, go straight to micros. Just be super careful if you have to trade, but it's not worth it. JC locked in 250 today. Very good. Very good. Took 3 small Early exit wins, sitting on my hands and wiggling my thumbs for distraction. Yeah. Dark fire today is opposite day. It really is. It's opposite day. But what is cool though is that we are, these two zones are kind of holding up. These two gaps are holding up. That was a beautiful gap. But I'm just not happy trading this market right now. I mean, was there a long position? Let's have a look on the footprint if there was. Theoretically, yes, but it happened in a split second. I would never have caught that in a million years. Right? You can see it here. All that sell volume gets trapped, and then instantly buy volume came in. But that happened in a split second. I saw it, in the corner of my eye. It just went. Poof. You'll never catch it. So, and then by the time it was up there, I would be too scared to enter because it's too big of a stop now. It's just moved too quick. So there's chaotic markets. You just can't trade them, man. But let's see. I mean, I feel like it will be one of those days where the moment I end the stream, all of a sudden starts trending. Like it breaks out the range, excellent market conditions. It feels like it's going to do that today. It's just been against me today. The market has almost, I don't know. It's been against me. It doesn't like me. It's just rotating. I mean, at least we're getting a bit bigger rotations now. So there is actual possibility for trading again, because we're actually getting some kind of a move. But when it was like that area, that was complete just garbage, right? It's just complete garbage. I don't know. It's just insanity. But this, okay, you could probably trade this now. We're getting half decent kind of moves. It's not completely uninterrupted. And that's 100 points. There's possibility now. So let's see as we get to the top of the range. Does it want to go down? Does it want to rotate down again? That gap is still very much in play, but it's not great. It's kind of been filled for the most part. Let's see if sellers want to take over again. I bet the breakout's going to happen. Just know my luck. So we want to get a bit higher up to the top of the range. We're somewhat there, but let's see what the footprint's saying. Can we get any kind of? But I'd want a very clear signal. I don't want just like a little bit of volume. I want a clear. Oh yeah, that looks very good. Kind of setup. I don't want kind of like a half-assed. I could do it. Clarity. Let's see what happens. So nothing really right now. Sellers trying to come in, but they're not doing very well. So it's still very much in the buyers, I would say. But it's calmed down a bit, which is good. Like if you just look at the candle, the speed of the candle as it moves, you can read this now, 66, 62, 57, 32, 16. You can keep up with it, in your mind. Whereas when it's so quick that it just gaps and you miss data, like you just don't know. So this is a bit easier now to read because it's a bit more calm. I can even actually turn down the cluster size to maybe 20. The clusters are a bit fat. Did it turn down? Oh yeah. Yeah, it looks quite nice. It looks a bit better. Today is opposite day. All right. Be looking to potentially short if it's still not great. I mean, sellers are adding volume, but when really, we've got that point of control there as well. Nothing clear. This just looks like buyers were a bit exhausted, but nothing. Looking at buyers coming back in. All right, we're trading below buyers. Sellers are coming in now. It's not looking terrible, but it's still not great. We're slowly starting to see, because it could very easily still, buyers just come back in and just release. We're only like a few points below the buyers. It's not a lot. I want to see, like, look at that. Buyers instantly came back in. Okay. 96, 89, which still trading below them. A lot of buyers want to come in here. It's worth actually potentially. I just want to see a bit more sells. Got my finger on the trigger ready to potentially get in, but look at that. They're coming in 200, 240, 299, 350. Now the buyers are getting very aggressive, but they are getting absorbed here. They're not going any higher. So I'm going to go in with 1 micro for now, dip my toe in. If, like, realistically, if we break above those buyers, it's not going to work out, right? So I can have a stop above those buyers. And I mean, I guess you just target the bottom, right? Like, it's a range. But I will keep my eye like near the middle, because the range can start compacting as time goes on. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and it starts compacting. So it might not go right to the bottom of the range, but or I'll get out if something looks bad in the movement, in the footprint. Look at that. Sellers got absorbed very quickly. There's still buyers in the market. That's fine. But realistically speaking, yeah, those buyers came out again. If they're back into that spot, are they gonna? There's still an iceberg on the sell side here, which is good. We're starting to break it. Come on, you gave me a little bit of hope there, and then you decide not to. So we've broken that level, unfortunately. Unless sellers come in now, this is not going to work out. Sellers, where are you? I need you, sellers. Okay, a little bit. Can we get back below the 300? There we go. All right, sellers, took a while there. Had me worried. Taking your advice and calling it. Cheers, Sammy. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's not a great day to trade. Hey, new here. Just wanted to ask if you used a heat map as well. Ali Hassan, I don't, but it's a really good tool. I know a lot of traders who do use the heat map. They absolutely swear by it. I've always wanted to start using it. I just never got round to, just time a few hours, really familiarize myself with it, practice and figure it out. I just never really got that time, unfortunately. So I never really did it. But I don't use it, but from what I've heard, it's really, really good. Like, definitely well worth. And I still, at some point in the future, I want to start using it. I think is not only pure volume footprint and fixed range. Well, yeah, only volume footprint right now. I think the heat map is, look, it just displays essentially. I mean, it's if you like DOM trading, the heat map will be like the best version of it, because it shows you all the previous kind of levels, and it should be easy to spot just based on. Real quick about this trade, this is starting to look not great. We're getting sellers come in, but they're struggling to go lower than this area. So if we don't start breaking below, there's some kind of iceberg, something again in the book trying to hold. There we go. Bit of aggression. Hopefully that can break through it. But no, look, they instantly get absorbed every single time. Now, that could be some of these buyers defending. It's really not that much volume, so I don't know why the sellers are struggling that much. I feel like they should break it. They really should. But they're struggling a bit. Do you know what I mean, the sellers? It's not looking too good for them. They should be. You want a bit of speed in the market. You want a bit of clean air, and it's hard to describe. But you see, whenever you see that kind of choppiness where the market's just struggling to get down, and if you're seeing big, sellers, and even, 131 contracts isn't the biggest amount. Don't get me wrong. It's not like, wow, that's huge, right? But it's big enough where, I'm expecting a bit of movement. There we go. But there is a lot of buyers buying up every time the sellers come in. That was over 100. We're back down to 62. The buyers are definitely more adamant at buying the market than sellers are at shorting the market when it goes up. Does that make sense? Unless the sellers come in with extreme aggression like they did earlier, this market is going to struggle to keep dropping. And it's always going to have that kind of more smoother movement going up because the buyers are more willing to buy. And they've just trapped a bunch of sellers at the bottom here. If the sellers can't bring it down, I'm just going to flatten because I don't think this is I need to see real aggression come in. We haven't really had big amounts of aggression yet. Just smidges, 40 contracts, a few 100 here and there. 70s, I want to see bigger numbers, right? Just like the buyers when they came in, they put more aggression in and they had less resistance as well. So they had 200, 100, 180. They put in a bit more size, on average, and they had less resistance, meaning the market was able to drift up very cleanly, whereas the sellers are going to have this kind of constant pushback because they're not putting in enough size. And I think the sentiment, therefore, people are more inclined today to be buying the market than they are to short the market. So you're always going to have a bit more of a difficult time shorting it. But what can you do? I'll go to break even though we're very close to it. But that way I can just talk to the chat and not really have to focus on too much the footprint and just let it do its thing. Yeah, I see you using order flow. I thought you might use that as well, or a volume profile. Yeah, I use volume profile and the footprint. So the volume profile is on my chart. It's just far away, so you can't really see it, but there it is. I got the volume profile. I use that for my levels to trade off. So I use low volume nodes predominantly. If you weren't streaming, would you be watching NQ and ES footprints at the same time? Not really. I would generally just be, watching one footprint. So if I'm trading the NQ, yeah. But I would say, if you're getting into order flow, trade the ES 100%. Like the ES's footprint is so much nicer to trade than the NQ. The NQ is a good kind of middle. Like the ES is very slow and boring for the most part, but the footprint is phenomenal. Like really nice to see. Really, really good to trade. It's clear, great volume, really high volume. The ES really has a great footprint, but it is a bit boring to trade. The Dow, terrible footprint because the volume is so low and absolutely mental in the way it moves. And the NQ is kind of a good middle position, not as mental as the Dow, not as boring as the ES, kind of dead in the middle. And its footprint is okay. It's pretty decent. Like you can trade it quite well, but the ES is the best footprint to trade, hands down. Like if you look at the ES's footprint, it's just beautiful. An absolute beauty to trade. I'm gonna have to change the tick amounts, obviously, because But yeah, just look at that. Look at that footprint. Like, look at that. Like, if you wanted to short, right, at the top, just look at the volume come in. 500, 500, 400. You can really see heavy volume in the ES, like so clear, right? You can see it crystal clear because the range is bigger, right? Massive cluster of buyers, unable to push the market up, and then a few sellers. But like on this move up, let's have a look compared to the NQ. I got to make the footprint a little bit. Let's try 8 ticks. Let's try 4. Still doesn't look great. Yeah, 4's nice. 4 ticks per cluster. So again, you're seeing, just if you kind of squint your eyes, you can kind of see the bigger numbers, right? Especially in this range, it kind of doesn't really go anywhere. But then, as those buyers come in, 700, 800, it just has a better range. That's all I can describe. It has a better range of low and high volume. So you can spot big volume on the, like, look at that, 1,000 contracts. You'll never really see 1,000 on on the NQ. Rarely would you maybe see 1,000, like on a really mental day. But for the most part, 1,000 is rare to see. And yeah, the ES is a beautiful footprint to trade. So it's definitely worth using the ES. If you're getting, have a lot better time learning and kind of studying it and trading the ES. And then once you're good, you can kind of you don't have to think too much about what you're seeing. Then you can kind of tackle the NQ or whatever, right? Because yeah, the NQ is exciting. This is the thing. Oh, I'm very hungry. Let me move this to 16. What's your win rate and return risk reward? Sorry, average. It depends, man. Like on my cash account, I actually don't. It really depends. Win rate is a tough one when you're scalping, because what you see as a scalper is you're going to have a lot of failed trades, right? Like the trade I just took there, right? Technically wasn't a winning trade, right? And if it was slightly in the negative, I don't know if it gapped or takes you out at break even because of the commission, it will put it as a losing trade. But it's just break even. Do you know what I mean? It's you want to look at don't focus on win rates and stuff like that, because that's just going to mess up the way your psychology is. There is no such like trading strategy with a 90% win rate or anything like that. Just focus on what you're actually seeing and try and make sense of the story. That's the most important thing. All that stuff will come eventually, and don't get obsessed with these numbers, because they're gonna hinder you. Because if you're adamant at having a 80% win rate, it's going to hurt when you lose, and you're focused too much on not losing, and you'll end up doing silly stuff at some point. Like, it will happen, it almost guaranteed. What you want to look at is just the raw, what is actually going on, what makes sense, what's the story of the market, because all you're seeing is a story, right? And you can decode the story. Okay, so let's take a look at excuse me. Let's take a look at, sorry, my voice is going, I'm talking too much. That's better. Let's take a look at the open. Jeez. Let's take a look at the open. My voice is dying here. I'm sorry, guys. I need a lozenge or something. What happened at the opening candle, right? So ton of sellers came in, a bit of buyers came in as well, trying to get the market up. You can see on the wick as well how it probably here, a bunch of buyers came in, got the market up to here. Sellers quickly shot down, bit of absorption from the buyers because you see the numbers get really small as well, right? Big numbers all in the middle of the candle. That was a big battle between buyers and sellers. So there were a lot of buyers at the bottom here as well, trying to stop it. That's why these numbers go like -3 and only 52 and 31. They were probably bigger at one point, but then the buyers came in and stopped and put it back to neutral. Still had the exact same battle going on, same battle, no one's winning. But then you saw something interesting right here, right? Ton of buyers came in, right? But couldn't get it up any higher. We closed bearish. That's probably a good signal. All right, more likely we're going to go down because the buyers are starting to fail. They are not as efficient, right? Here is kind of 50-50. Very difficult to kind of know. You can see it in the story, right? So a lot of buyers are now trapped, right? A lot of volume here from the buy side, and they're going to be trapped. So what's going to happen when it goes against them and we start breaking these lows? They're all going to get the hell out the market, right? They're all going to get out because it's going against them. They're probably, most people who bought there are probably going to want to get out below this low. So when we break that low, what do you see? Ton of sellers coming in. Now that's a lot of these buyers, okay, hitting, flatten, whatever, getting out the market, and that looks like sell orders, right? And sellers keep trickling in, buyers keep trying to buy it up, but notice how the buyers are predominantly at the top of the candle, but we're not going any higher. Internal temp too high, now to call freaking hell. All right, my camera has overheated, so hopefully you can still hear me. But you don't need to see my face for this, so it's fine. You just want to read the story. Where is the money in the market? Who is in pain? That's always a good one. Looking for pain in the market, right? Any big kind of amount of pain in the market is going to move the market. Because what pain guarantees is someone is going to exit. No one is forced to ever enter the market, right? And this is what my like senior trader always told me, and it makes so much sense, right? He goes, the only emotion you ever have to look for in the market is pain. Pain is the only emotion that matters. And what he meant by that is, for example, right here, 348 buyers. That's a lot of buyers. If they get into drawdown and it goes too far against them, they're going to be in pain and they're going to have to get out the market. They can't hold on to that position forever. Yes, they're going to try and defend it as they are right now. They're going to try and stop the market from going down against them. So they're going to defend it like crazy, right? But if it goes too far below, they're all going to drop out, right? They're going to have to get out the market. And it's pain that moves the market. No one is forcing anyone to sell right now, right? You don't have to sell here, okay? But if you're in a position and it goes against you, you have to get out. You're forced to make a move. And so identifying pain, we have right now identified potential pain in the market. These guys right here, 348 contracts delta on the buy side. They're going to be in pain. They're currently probably panicking. That's why they're defending so aggressively. If we see them drop out the market, right, and we start seeing a lot of, all starts lighting up red, those, especially in an area that makes sense, right? Let me just get rid of some of these boxes because I've got all these boxes here. And it's like, where do you think most traders who entered there probably going to want to get out? They're probably going to put these lows here as their, last resort, right? If we get break below here, they're probably all going to want to exit. So if we do get break below here, almost guaranteed, watch those numbers on the sell side get really big because they're forced to exit the market. They can't hold on to their position. and that's what's going to move the market, right? Because that translates to then sell contracts, more sellers come in, it's a snowball effect, and then boom, 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 the market moves. And then, yeah, pain. Look for pain. That's all you ever want to look for. Pain in the market. I hope that kind of makes sense on how I explained that. I kind of want to see what happens, though. I do want to see what happens. If we break below here, come on, break below. I want to see those buyers get squeezed out and exit. Come on. I mean, some of them are obviously, it's not just going to be one buyer, but some of them would have already left the market. You know, they're not going to always close out their whole position. They might, you know, partially close out a bit, take some size off. But yeah, pain moves the market, man. Unless they got to stop. If they have a stop loss place, which they probably do, and they get stopped out, you're not going to see it on the footprint. That's another thing. I should probably put that as a caveat. A stop loss, well, actually, no, you would see it as because it converts to a market order, so you would see it. But take profits, you don't really see. Take profits, you would see as the same side. You see it as a bunch of buyers. Yeah, they're slowly starting to drop out. 100 here, 100 there. But yeah, look for pain. Pain moves the market. But what we got here is just rotational. Rotational, man. Cody says on NQ, it seems like 300 plus in one block is what you are looking for to consider trap buyers, sellers. Yeah, I mean, I kind of take just what I try to do is look at the volume around us, right? Like anything that's quite obviously, you know, a big chunk compared to what we're seeing, because there's going to be days where volume is going to be higher. So 300 might not be that much in comparison, but there's going to be days where the volume's low. And if you see 300, that's that's a lot. So try and, you know, just look at the clusters, like what you're kind of seeing on average. You know, you're seeing bigger numbers are probably more like 150 plus in this market at the moment. Small numbers can be, you know, like 15. Medium is like, so 300 seems like, yeah, actually that's quite a big amount for this. Oh, look at that. Like, and especially if it's stacked as well, right? So I like to kind of, like, if I see this, I'm just counting that as like 200 plus orders, right? Because it's kind of stacked among each other, you know, 130 there, another 110. To me, that's, you know, pretty much the same thing, right? It's stacked on top of each other. But yeah, this is nasty. Done for the day. Green, I'll see you around. Yeah, dark fire. I think I'm going to be done for the day as well. I see nothing at this moment in time. This market it's not fun. It's not great today. I'll probably come back later, but I'm going to trade my cash accounts. So I won't be on a stream. I'll probably come back if it, you know, something happens. I'll set a few alerts, you know, above and below this kind of area and see if we ever break out. If we break out, I'll be kind of looking potentially for trades. But as it stands, yeah, I'm not looking to trade. But yeah, I think we're 2 hours now on this stream. So I think I'll leave it there. But thank you all for tuning in. I'm back again tomorrow, same time, 9:30 Eastern, New York Open. I hope you can all tune in as well. Ben says running $100 profit on gold commodities. Perfect. Good stuff, Ben. Congratulations. Well done. But yeah, everyone, thank you all for tuning in. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Have a good one, guys. Take care, everyone. Thank you.